What's up, guys? Hey, Dedexy. What's up, Dark Raven? Okay, so unfortunately, I'm a little sick. So sorry if my voice sounds a little funny, but luckily, animating's not really like super intensive on me, so it's not like being sick hinders me at all from doing the stream. So let's get started on this guy. So my two references for this specific character are gonna be one of the Harpies, the man catcher, and then the it's hard to see, the ghoul, because this character is very much like the ghoul, you know, like the pose and everything and the way it fights is very much like a ghoul. What's up, Pokido? How you doing? So I'm just gonna get straight into animating for it. This one's actually also a lot of meshes, so this stream might take a little longer than usual. But that's fine. I had to be very clever with how I separate out like all these different parts so that I could work on it more easily. But yeah, let's just get started. Okay, so let's start with the usual hips. So about right there, and then the spine. Looks really cool. Thanks to Dexy. This will also be the final harpy that I'll animate on stream, because the rest of them are a little technical, so I don't think I can do those on stream. And some of them are also really nasty looking. So I think what I'm gonna do is after I finish this harpy, we're gonna start rotating in like a mini boss every few weeks, so I can get those done. So here's the arm. Let's see. So hand. Oops. The thumb. Especially how it looks like an even more horrific combo of both harpy types and myth. Oh yeah, for sure. I had fun. This was actually like one of the first harpies that I concepted. This one, so it was this one and this one were like the first concepts for the harpies, the man catcher and the Ravager. The very first concept was the imp, which is one I haven't animated on stream yet, but the imp was the first one that I ever animated, or not animated, but concepted as a harpy. That was super fun. It was interesting coming out with these like super nasty creatures. Let's see, so what will this one do? So this one's specifically, almost pure damage, aside from its, feet attack, where it, like, bites you and stuff to heal itself. Other than that, everything it does is, like, straight up damage. And it attacks twice, like a lot of the other monsters. So the head. So yeah, it's like 100% a damage dealer, but you know, like all of the monsters that can attack twice, with the exception of the size 2 abyssal enemy, the crab, are super easy to kill. So really, the answer to beating this guy is killing it. But if for some reason you don't have enough like damage dealers to focus this one down, then you're gonna take a few hits. Let's see. When did I start concepting for this mod? The concept for this mod actually happened almost immediately after the Seraph. So yeah, that should be good. Yeah, I concepted, like, when I finished the Seraph, I wanted to do a dungeon. I had some dungeon ideas already set up from like back when the Falconer first released, but I didn't really want to do any of those because I didn't feel like I didn't feel like the idea was well developed enough. And then I came up with the concept of the Colosseum, and I really liked the idea of it. So I started messing around with like ideas for it, and it just got better and better for me. So I just rolled with it. Okay, so I think I'm gonna have, yeah, I think I'm gonna have some stuff hang out here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, the back spikes, here we go. Attack twice, horrifying. Yeah, there's a lot of enemies that do that, like attack twice. So you have to really, what I found really works with those enemies is just straight up damage. Riposte works really well against them since they attack twice. Bleeds and blights work really well against them because they act twice, so it takes twice as fast on them. But stuns don't really work on them because really what ends up happening is you stun them and then they still get one attack off. So you basically trade your one turn for half of their turn, so it's not really efficient to stun at all, except for the big crab. But even then, the big crab is still like super easy to like. He's not super easy to stun, so it's hard to do that and still fight him because every one of his attacks is still like super nasty. Okay, so I'm gonna have these legs on a separate bone structure. So the foot and the actual leg. And I'm gonna. This one's a little tricky. I'll figure that out. So let's see. Foot and leg. This one's kind of weird because it's kind of like 3 bones. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that, and I think I'm gonna IK it. So let's make an IK. What leg is this? Leg left. IK. Okay. So this character has like a few bleed attacks, but it also has a blade attack, so it can do both types of damage. Also, I'm happy to see the next cultist to be animated. It's one that seemed really unique. Yeah, the Provoker's a cool character. I like concepting for that one. In game, it's a little weird to fight against because really what it is it's a damage dealer that guards, but it's also something you want to kill turn 1 because it's slow, so it's likely to go last. And usually on its first turn, what it does is guard and riposte. So on turn 2 onwards, it's like a big pain in the ass to fight because it's guarding one of the people you potentially want to kill, and it has riposte on, so it would do extra damage against you if you try to attack it. So it ends up being the character that I nuke almost all the time. Okay, so on this one, I'm also gonna make another bone for this one because this is actually a separate bone. This thing sticking out of its skin. Oh yeah, but yeah, for the blight attack, it just vomits on you, like it barfs food on you or something. That's its attack. That's its blight attack. Okay. And then I'll probably have the knee pad connected like that, and then the leather strap behind it. I gotta remember, I gotta go back and name all these as I get there. And then these. It's just these hanging bits, gotta make sure I animate those. Okay, let's do this claw here. The thumb, palm, and then the fingers. Okay, I think that's almost everything. I gotta do this bulge here. These two bulges. Because I want him to do the same thing this guy's neck does, where it like pulsates a little bit. The crab hives, yeah. Freaking nasty. You mentioned an intro mission. Will it be its... What will be its goal and what will it feature? So the goal is going to be pretty simple. It's just complete all rooms. Yeah, it's just complete all rooms, and really what it is its like primary goal is just to introduce some of the concepts that I have in this dungeon. Like the slight changes to stealth in this dungeon. So the harpies will be stealth for 3 rounds and have a crit bonus while stealth. But if they're alone, like the only person left in the enemy party, they'll run away if they're stealth. I'll introduce the concept of characters that can attack twice. Introduce the concept of extremely tanky enemy comps. So comps that you can't really just burst to uselessness, like destroy like the super high priority targets and then just stall on the weaker ones. I'll introduce ones that are like literally you gotta like plan out the next few turns against them because they're so tanky. I'll also introduce, you know, all the factions, some of the interesting curios, the amount of interactions with laudanum, and the different types of enemies that can inflict horror. Just like it's just like a test run of all of the concepts I have in this dungeon, so that players aren't surprised by it when they start playing it like repeatedly. Okay, so now I gotta go back and name every single one of these bones. This is a leg. Left. Okay. Oh, thanks for the host, E5. Welcome everyone. Everyone that's so I'm animating this character for a dungeon mod that I'm gonna be releasing within the next few months. We just finished creating the skeletal structure, like the controls for the character, and now I'm going in and renaming all of them so that I can stay organized. And then we're gonna start connecting all the pieces and then controlling the weights so that I can make it animate pretty smoothly. Okay, like right. Crap, people. My work's awesome. Thanks, Neon Nose. Okay, gotta go. Looking forward to seeing this one animated tomorrow. Yeah, no problem, Koala. See you around. Okay, so I want let's see. This is the spine. Is there a harpy that's really tall with 2 knives? There is. There actually is a harpy that's really tall with 2 knives. That one's called the Skulker. It's like the elite version of the harpy for stealth. See, right, 1, okay. So, finger. I gotta say, out of all the enemies to animate though, harpies are probably my favorite because they're just so. Each one's like super unique, so it's super fun to like try to create a personality for each one. Then finger 5. Okay, so what's this? The thigh. What do I want to call these? I'll just call them bits. Could call them danglies. Yeah, I could. But I've already committed to the name though. I don't really want to go back and change them. Danglers. When will we learn more about the lore? Looking forward to translating it. It'll be when it releases or during the beta. I'll have the lore pages, like the lore journals and stuff like that in the game, so you can go explore and find those. Yeah, it's cool. Obviously, a lot of it is like pretty vague, so that players can interpret it on their own. But there'll be some stuff that's kind of like pretty solidified. Okay, let's see. So start here. Palm left. Skull. And let's see, this is hair, so actually I'll name that differently. So so we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is number 4. I'll actually just start here. Just didn't want to capitalize it though. Okay, cool. Let's see. Jaw. And what are these? That's right, these bloat things. Call them bloats. What are these down here? Okay. Will you be able to run into the Shrieker in the same dungeon with the Harpies? Nah. Even though they're both birds, they're separate. They're separate enemy types, so you won't run into them in the same dungeon. Okay, I think I named everything. So now I want to go connect the effects dot to the spine upper, wherever I put that. Here it is. Okay, so now if I move this, okay, cool. Everything should be fine. And if I move him up and down, this leg should move as well. Ah, this one's not connected, okay. So let's go connect that. Cool. Okay, so let's go connect all the parts now. So I just gotta figure this out. Cool. Okay. Gotta remember to save. Let's see. So left leg. Okay. Pinky. Yeah, I'll have them both connect to the jaw. And okay, almost done. Oh snap! Okay, so yeah, I gotta create controls for this armor here as well. So let's do that. Oh yeah, and I gotta create stuff for this too. Okay. So yeah, I'll be connected here. And then yeah, that strap's probably gonna stay still. What's the first mini boss you plan to animate on stream? That's a good question. Let me think. There's a nice list of mini bosses that I did announce. I don't know if I want to do the nastier ones on stream. Some of them are pretty gnarly. I'll probably do the maybe one of the cultist ones, like the Templars. I might do one of the Templars. I'll have to decide off stream. But those ones will definitely be like super streams, because those are like really complicated monsters that I gotta make sure that I put a lot of attention to detail into, because they're mini bosses. And the hard part's gonna be giving each one a very specific different feel of animation, and then making sure that they still look like unified in game, because they're all very different, all the mini bosses, but you can meet them together. So I gotta make sure that they feel good, like animating next to each other, even though each one is a very different type of character. Where did I put that shoulder? Here it is. Yeah, the Templars. I like the Templars too. I like the concept I did from. I actually found out recently that they're really big. Like compared to the actual in-game Templars, they're pretty huge. But I think that's fine, given that they're also pretty tough. Cool. Yeah, obviously I gotta mesh that leg so it bends a little bit more appropriately. I'll actually have this connected to this. Cool. Actually, I think I'll have yeah, I'll have these connected to the head. These connected here as well, because I don't want the skull to move and have all of the hair move with it. Okay, I can make that work. Okay, cool. Okay, let's get to the meshing. And there's gonna be a lot of that today. Okay. I'm mostly putting a lot of points here because I want these to look nice when I animate them. even though they're pure black. And then a lot of this doesn't really matter because it's pure black. Okay, so separate it out here and here. Separate out the knee just in case. Then I want points here for bending. Okay, so about like that. Okay, so that should be good. Well, the Templars have the ability to break guards, are extremely deadly AoE attacks. So they won't have the ability to break guards, but they will have deadly AoE attacks for sure. Okay, let's bind those to what I want. So probably this, spine for sure. That's about it. Actually, sure, this one too. Because I kind of wanted to, when the thigh bends, I wanted to kind of react to it as well. At least this thigh. Actually, clavicles too, for sure. Let's do those. That should be it. Do I play with mods other than my own? Sometimes, it depends. I don't really play with class mods, because really what I'm doing when I'm playing Darkest Dungeon nowadays is I'm testing my own class mods, and this is kind of like my own rule of like playing my mods, is that I assume that the players who play my mods have access to the base game stuff, so the DLC and stuff like that, and my mods, because I can't really predict if my mods are gonna be broken with a class mod that someone else made, because there's just so many other class mods. So usually I just play with my own mods for testing. But yeah, I actually don't really play Darkest Dungeon anymore just for playing it. I play it to mod, which is fun in and of itself, is just like the balancing and making of these mods. Interesting. Oh man, this is. Oh, I did. Okay, so I need to do that too. So I need to bind all these bits. Yeah, okay, that didn't look too bad. I'm gonna have to rough a lot of this out though, because it did a really bad job. So I guess I gotta rough them out. But yeah, like I've played like Pitch Black Dungeon. I've played that. When Claire like 100% or at least gets close to like finishing MLD, I'll definitely get a playthrough of that going. And like I use some like utility mods like faster animations. I use that for when I play Blood Moon. Okay, yeah, let's give control here. A language in Australia where the word for dog, but not any other word, is exactly the same in English. That's kind of weird. I wonder why. It's kind of interesting, actually. I don't know. When I took like a short French class in high school, and I was actually surprised to know how many words, like how many words in English and French are basically the exact same. It's pure coincidence, for real? That's really weird. I mean, I guess if there's like hundreds of thousands of words, I guess one of them has to eventually just mean the same thing. I don't know, that's still kind of weird. Okay, this one's gonna be a little awkward. I might actually just give this guy a lot of control. I gotta think about it. Okay. It is pure coincidence that English and that other language have the same word for dog. Interesting, interesting. Yeah, French and English have common things, but some sound the same but are different. Yeah, for sure. It's kind of interesting how the meanings differ between the two languages. Okay, let's see how weird this is. Okay, so that's super weird over there. So I think I want yellow to actually control here. It's gonna be pretty awkward. I'll give it a little control. Okay, I want that to be fixed. a little hard. It's kind of hard to mesh this because of all of these back hairs. That one actually looks pretty decent. I want to try to fix that just a little bit. Oh yeah, and all this crap down here needs to be fixed as well. Oh yeah, this is gonna be super weird actually. Okay, so I think I'm gonna restructure this and connect these to this this thigh instead. Yeah, that'll be much better. Okay, cool. Or maybe this one I can afford to have connected to the hips. Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool. Any idea if E5 will stream today, and if so, when? I'm not sure. He said he would stream today. Yesterday on the stream, he said he would stream today, but I'm not sure what time he would. So yeah, I'll give this more over here. It looks pretty decent. Except down here. Yeah. So how would I fix this? No, that's not gonna fix it. I'll probably just live with it. It's not that bad. This one could use fixing though, so why is it controlling over here though? Probably because of this. And then let's fade this out a little bit. Okay. Cool. Let's work on these. Yeah, that's gonna need a lot of work. Okay, so yeah, just fade it out a little bit. Okay, cool. Have you play tested against your bosses a bit? Which is the more interesting to face? I've play tested against a few of them. I think the one that I'm 100% happy with, and I'm probably not going to change in the future, is the ancients, the trio of weird dudes in the mini boss previews. Because what it is each one does a very specific thing, and the thing they do gets stronger as as each one dies. So so there's like the architect, the philosopher, and the seamstress. And as each one dies, the other one gains like a new gimmick or something. So like if the architect dies, or each one gets a gimmick except for the philosopher, because the philosopher is actually like 100% the strongest one, because it's just a stress dealer. So it's just like the philosopher, the longer he's the longer he's alive, the more stress your team builds up, and eventually it becomes too much. So he just ramps up over time normally. But like if one of them dies, then like the seamstress would be able to control one of your party members, and the architect would be able to. So the architect's gimmick is that he summons the strongest creatures from every faction. But since there's 3 of them, there's only 1 slot to fill. And as each one dies, he can fill up another slot when he summons them. So if you kill the philosopher, then the architect can summon 2 of the strongest creatures rather than just 1. And he periodically gives one of the summoned creatures like a very strong permanent buff, so they become more and more insane. It's kind of like a permanent version of like the Shambler spawn buffs when they attack. So I like that fight because what it is it's kind of like you kind of control how you want to fight it. So you could decide to nuke the architect first, and then have to deal with the seamstress controlling one of your teammates, and the philosopher's still alive, so he's doing a bunch of stress to your team. Or you could nuke the seamstress first, and then you have to deal with the architect summoning a lot more of the stronger mobs. And I beat it, but I've also played with team comps against it where I felt like I wasn't doing enough against it. Like I felt like I played too safe, so I wasn't able to kill any of the targets, and I just ended up losing. That's cool. What's up, Nasira? AoE could probably be a valid strat. The only problem is the seamstress has an AoE heal, so you got to deal with that. But I'm sure if you do enough AoE, then you could outdamage the seamstress's AoE heal. But yeah, definitely the ideal situation would probably be to kill the philosopher immediately, and then get the architect and the seamstress low enough that you can kill both of them simultaneously. In my mind, that's probably the most ideal strat against it. But seeing as there's a lot of ways to actually approach the fight, I'm sure that when I release it to players will find more strategies that they like to use against it. I'm sure there'll be a good amount of players that also think the fight's kind of like BS, but that's kind of normal for boss fights. I'm assuming a lot of the fights I make for this dungeon are gonna be very, very tough, and I assume a lot of players aren't gonna be able to figure the fights out immediately the first time around. But I want to try to stick to the difficulty of a lot of the fights, because I like a lot of the fights because of how difficult they are, because they make me even though I know everything about the fights, it makes me kind of think of how can I approach this fight in the most optimal way possible to win. Been wondering something. Would you care to share why the Harpies transform like this? It's kind of like the Crimson it's like the Crimson Curse, but this is like the version that turns you into birds, not mosquitoes. That's probably the easiest way I could explain it without going into unnecessary details. Oh, and welcome to the stream, Nasira. I'm just working on the meshes right now, trying to figure this out. Yeah, I'm interested to hear what people like think are perfect teams against them, because it's like the first time I fought, the first time I fought the trio, I thought it was way too easy because I nuked the philosopher, like turn one, like I killed him turn one with like a mark team, and then I nuked the seamstress, but then I got screwed because the architect summoned all the strongest mobs from every faction, and that usually means he summons 3 2-action creatures. So the architect summoned like a harpy, this harpy guy, and then the big lobster, and then like an honor guard, like a cultist honor guard. And I had like 4 actions and they had like 6, so I was getting like screwed over by that. But it was interesting because the architect actually kind of sucks early. Like he's a really weak enemy. Like he's probably the weakest to start with, but he becomes the strongest if he's the last one, which is really cool. It's an interesting fight dynamic. Afflicted with Harpy Curse? Nah, I didn't go that deep. Okay. Yeah, I'll talk about details as I get around to the mini bosses. Of course, a lot of them are still like work in progress, so everything I say is subject to change. Let me check up here. Yeah, that could use some work. But everything down here looks pretty good. But yeah, that one was really cool. I fought the chariot boss and reworked it because I thought the fight was cool but too simple. And I'm still messing around with the other bosses. I fought Scylla with one of the Templars, and I thought the fight was interesting in that it wasn't like the most complicated fight, but it was definitely a hard fight. And I actually had to end up running away because I couldn't deal with it. But I'm still on the fence about that one because I need to give it a second try to really understand it. And then I fought one of the other bosses, the big spider one, and that one's super hard. Like I nerfed it, and then I fought it again, and it was still like insane. How do I feel? Let's see. I suspect something to do with the Harpy matriarch boss. Oh yeah, for the curse, you mean? Yeah. How do you feel about making content that is DLC worthy? I don't know. That's what I set out to do. Was I wanted to make like content that feels like it's base game. So if it feels DLC worthy, that's good. I don't know. My general feeling about the content I'm making though is that like all of the plans I do for this mod don't mean anything until I actually execute on them, which is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to execute on all of the super ambitious plans that I set out to do with this dungeon, like making 3 separate factions with 24 enemies total, and then making all these mini bosses and the bosses and stuff like that. Like I make all these big all these big claims, and I want to make sure that I keep true to my word when I'm doing this, which is why I've been working so hard to try to get all these creatures. And that's also kind of like what the weekly mod animation stream thing does for me, is that it keeps me on track with all the creatures. Because I'm pretty sure if I wasn't doing these streams, then I probably wouldn't have gotten so many animations done. Okay, so that needs a lot of work. can I fix that? But yeah, I just want to get it done. Make sure I stick to my word. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I don't really mind that that's not moving. Okay, so let's give it something like that. See how it looks. Okay, so I don't like that. I don't like that either, so let's fix it. It's because of this. Patreon probably helps you to stay focused too, I assume. Yeah, for sure. I really appreciate that people are willing to donate to support my mods. It's definitely been like a factor in keeping me productive. Cause like before the Patreon, when I was just doing like the class mods, how I actually work on them, as I usually binge work on like the mod itself for like 7 hours in one day, and the next day I work on something completely different. Like I lose focus. So like I'm working on the class mod for one day, and then the next day I'm just drawing something completely random. But with this mod, I've actually been working on it every day, which is great. Okay, so let's see how I can fix that. Probably just this. Cool. That's looking good. Let's give this one control around there. So it's pulling it up as well. Okay, that's gonna need a lot of work. But yeah, that'll be cool. Thrall, Flag, Jester, and Highwayman. Is that your party to fight the trio? It looks pretty good. The Thrall's great because he does just straight up damage. Like, you definitely want to kill one for sure. Like one of the trio, you want to kill it like immediately. But when it gets to like only two of them, that's when it gets a little tricky. But yeah, I'm mostly interested to see like when I actually finish this mod, what the initial reaction from the community will be. Because my prediction was originally when I started this that if I'm going strictly based on the number of subscribers and how often people play this game, then based on the workload, then making 4 class mods is way more efficient than making a dungeon mod. Because I assume like a lot of the people that go for like the mods and stuff like that, the reason why they're playing with mods is because they finished the base game content and they just want to mess around with some stuff that the community has made. So I assume that means that they just want to play around with like class mods and experiment with wacky concepts for character abilities. not actually play like another full-on dungeon. That's my assumption when I that's my assumption when I started this project. That it was nowhere near like if I'm going straight on like subscriber count, there's no way making one dungeon mod is in any way going to get me more subscribers than like a class mod. But then I just thought, you know, like I want to make a dungeon mod because I want to play in like my own like my own created dungeon. So you know, I said screw it, and I worked on the dungeon. It's probably good. I guess the only problem, let's see, everyone can heal except for the jester. I think it'll be good. I don't know. It's hard to say. If you were to kill philosopher first, throw all this ever post though, so he could kill a lot of the elites. I don't know. It sounds good on paper. I always have to like test the things before I play them in the dungeon though. You never know. Like the whole reason I lost to the trio the second time was because I ran out of torches and laudanum. Those are two like really important things to counter the philosopher, because he does a whole bunch of horror damage. That's like almost all of his stress damage is horror, and he reduces the torchlight. So you gotta have both of those if you're running like sun rings. And I ran out of both, so I ended up taking a lot more stress, and the light went down, so I lost the benefits of like all my sun rings. So I got wrecked pretty hard. You disagree, Nasira? I mean, it's possible. I don't know. I guess I'll only be able to tell when I release the mod. So we'll see what happens then. I know some players are like, some people are like, they're not willing to play another run of Darkest Dungeon just to try out class mods. I know that, so they'd probably be interested in the dungeon. But I also know a lot of people who play with mods don't really want to play another run through because of the mods. They just want to play with the mods, so they just, you know, like a few like dungeon runs with the new classes just to try them out and see how they work, and then they're done. Like they don't want to do an actual full playthrough with them, but I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so I think this main torso is pretty good. This doesn't really bother me that much. So I think I'm gonna work on this arm. I don't actually need that many points. What am I doing? You're hyped a lot about the mod more than Color of Madness. I'm pretty sure. To be fair, you know, Red Hook doesn't release many details, but I'm pretty sure the Color of Madness will have some cool things in it. They're just pretty strict on their details. Yeah, Jester to manage stress and then hit rank 2 and 3. I'm sure it's a powerful team. It's just hard for me to like mentally think about how I would do against the trio, because you never know. But yeah, once the mod releases, definitely tell me how that party will do if you ever run it against them. Because it's definitely not an easy comp to fight, for sure. Color Madness is basically an endless mode. So as far as I know, it's a new area, like a farm area, and you fight a bunch of these like ghost farmers or something. It has 2 bosses, and it has an endless mode that you could play in. This is gonna be a little weird. I think I have to zoom in really hard and like really put the points in here. Gotta zoom in hard. Okay. We'll see what I do with these fingers. Okay. So, but from what I heard, it's tiered so that Dark's level is the only actual endless mode. Yeah, that's what I heard too. Okay, so separate out the palm. Yeah, I think I want this too. Separate it out here. And I'll just put extra points for security. Okay. Should be cool. Okay, so bind it here, here. Those are separate. Cool. This probably is, yeah, that's pretty terrible. This is a huge mess. Okay, so I'll just do the easy stuff. Okay, so let's work on this. It's definitely going to be a little rough. Should be fine. Hmm. I might have to go back and rearrange the points. Okay, 3 new repeatable quests, a novice introduction, a veteran boss kill, and an endless darkest level wave-based combat experience. That's cool. Will this mod work with PBD? I won't have a compatibility patch available. Like, I won't be making it because I don't know enough about PBD to make like a good one. But if someone from the community wants to make one, then they can. I'm sure there's I mean Rail's one of the members of the community, and he's done a pretty good job making compatibility patches for my mods. So I'm sure he'll be able to do it, or Claire could do it as well. But Claire said she'll definitely be making a compatibility patch for it for MLD. Okay, this is gonna be really rough. Let's see. This one's over here. Cool. Just got control here for some unknown reason. Cool. Looks pretty good to me. Maybe a little less control here. So, reduce control here. Okay. Yeah, so I gotta go back and change those points. Okay, how am I gonna do this? Okay, let's hope that that can fix it. Oh snap, it added holes. Yeah, no thanks. Yeah, that's still pretty terrible. Hmm. Over here. Actually, that's easy to fix. I can go back and add more points. Huh. Figure that out later. Maybe I'll have these move together actually. Just separate slightly, because it looks pretty okay if I don't separate it like a bunch. This one's still having trouble. I need to like really look in there. It's so hard for me to tell the difference between purple and blue. Okay. Hmm. I can live with that. This one's a little rough though. Hmm. So yeah, this hand's gonna be pretty rough to animate, but I could probably... I'll definitely have to be very restrictive about how I animate this hand. I think I can make it work. Okay. I want to make that a little more smooth. I think I can live with that. It looks pretty neat. Let's see if I can improve it. I think I'm fine with that. Cool. Okay, let's do the top of this torso. Cancel. This one should be easy. So I gotta separate these out. Okay. So that should be good. I'm gonna check how I did the bones at the back here. So here and here. So yeah, that should be good. Just find it to the appropriate bones. Yeah, I'll connect it to the neck as well. And these back spikes. Okay, while that's binding, I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. How much stun resistances will Harpies have? Almost none. They're the weakest. They're the weakest of the three factions to stuns. Most of them are like a normal stun with no like additional stun chance would most likely stun them. They all have like really low stun. The only thing is that they're all like all of them are also like extremely fast. So it's kind of like those mosquito things, the sycophants from the Crimson Court. They're like extremely fast but vulnerable to stun. So sometimes like stunning them can be a little awkward sometimes. Okay, so this is a complete mess. So let's fix it. Okay. Oh, this might be an issue. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna go add more points there. That'll definitely be an issue. I'm guessing they'll also have high dodge as well, like Madmen? Yeah, for sure. They will definitely have a very high dodge. They're like all the worst, like they're like a culmination of all the most frustrating things about Darkest Dungeon. Okay, that's a little awkward. Okay, much better. Your masochistic side is loving this. I find that at first the Harpies are like extremely annoying because they can do things like heal themselves and then inflict diseases on your heroes, and they're really fast and they crit a lot. But honestly, like they're also really easy to handle. It's kind of like the mosquitoes, you know, like the mosquitoes are super easy to kill. They're just really fast and they do a lot of like stress. But like after a while, once you fight them, like you start to learn like their patterns, and you just like, you know, you can handle them a lot better. So it'll definitely be an annoying enemy to fight at first, but I'm sure people will get the hang of it. It's just like if you set up like a party that like deliberately is bad against Harpies, then you get screwed. Okay, let's see. this is the other clavicle that actually probably won't have any control. So let's just remove it. Okay. So I don't like that it's controlling over here. And more control over here. Wonder, let's see if I can fix this. I think I can. Fix here as well. Okay. I consider the hardest vanilla enemy to be the cysts from DD3 because of their sheer amount of damage from digestion. How many enemies from your dungeon compared to that power level? Abyssal champions didn't seem too far from that in terms of damage output. Okay. The cyst is indeed hard, actually. The only thing about the cyst, for me though, that makes it easy is that Plague Doctor double stun is insane. So that's actually really easy for me to fight the cyst. Because really what happens is you can Plague Doctor stun both of them and then kill the thing, the little white cell, and then the cyst would spend its one turn healing it or like resummoning it. So it actually becomes a pretty trivial fight if you do it like that. But yeah, in terms of things that can hit that level of damage, the Chariot can do it really easily. The crab is the big crab, the champion, is definitely up there. If you don't have proper precautions like guards and yeah, guards, basically just guards. Guards and good healing in all positions. Let me think of the other bosses. The boss with the sword in its eye, that guy becomes like a big. That guy gains like a big power spike in the middle of the fight, so he could like destroy you instantly if you're not careful. And then this one right here too. If you fight two of these in the same party and you're not careful, like you don't deal with them properly, then these guys can like crit you to death super quick. But yeah, there's not many enemies that like one-shot crit your party members instantly. It's mostly like very situational things that happen. Like that. That looks cool. Actually, I want to fix this shoulder thing. Wrong search. The swine skiver crippled them and spit to roast. They are really nasty. I don't have any enemies like that. Like I don't have any. The big size 2 dude is probably the closest in terms of like a character that can just like instantly wreck you in one turn for like regular mobs. The size 2 cultist might be able to do it, but he's a little slow, and his attacks are pretty easy. Pretty easy to manage. Oh yeah, that reminds me. I should probably add a breathing control somewhere. Okay, so let's go back to this and do that. Not edit, bind. Okay, let's test it. Oops. It's pretty good. Whenever I think of ridiculous damage, I just think of the giant critic of Bounty Hunter, yeah. I find Bounty Hunters to be really good in this dungeon. Just because the mark damage, like them plus the mark bonus, makes them like one of the top damage dealers for dungeons. That's just me. Him and Highwaymen are like my favorite damage dealers. Much better. I like that. This doesn't have any control. Oh, rip. Okay, so I think I'm gonna restructure these to be connected to the neck. Okay. Pretty cool. Yeah, especially paired with something like Seraph, yeah, for sure. For maximum mark efficiency. Yeah, a lot of this is pretty good. These ones won't move that much anyway. Yeah, that one's easy. I'll probably... Yeah, I will. Okay. So this will be a mesh, for sure. I want this hair to be a mesh. Let's do the jaw, actually. That's pretty easy. Okay, so this will definitely be a long stream because I'm taking a really long time doing these meshes. I want to make sure this tooth is separate because I don't want it to be morphed by the mesh. Okay. And let's see, we bind it to the jaw and the skull, and that's it. But yeah, I've been working pretty hard to try to get as many of the trying to get this done as quickly as possible, because I would like to get it out. Oh crap, okay. Oh, there we go. See how it looks? It's pretty decent. I can probably smooth it out a bit more. Okay, now let's do the other side of the jaw. Okay, so this one's gonna be 3 because this is a thing that I want to pulsate as well, so I gotta keep that in mind. But this whole section with the teeth is still gonna be completely solid. Up here as well. And there. Delete this stuff. So here, here, and here, and then that's it. It's kind of weird, but okay. Okay, let's see, okay, so I want to remove this yellow stuff here for sure. So I do not want that to morph at all. See how this looks? That's pretty good, actually. Pretty nasty. I like that. It could use a little bit here. Ah, so many parts. Pretty nasty, which is great. Okay. Cool, I like that. This does need to be a mesh, so let's do that. So just those two. I think this will be fun to animate though. I'm already having like ideas in my head of what I want to do for it. Okay. Interesting. Let's see how I did. Oops. That's pretty good. I like that. Let's do the hair. Okay, so I gotta make sure I put points in here because this is gonna be extra tight. And this is pretty easy. And I'm just gonna treat this as one piece. Okay, so I think that's pretty good. Okay, so I'm gonna bind it. And I'm also gonna bind it to the head. So I can have roots. And this is probably gonna look really ugly if it auto meshes. Darn it. Okay, fine. Well, I guess I gotta go and fix those. Yeah, so far this buffer is doing good. Rip. What's rip? let me see, what do we actually have left to do? So the legs, this arm, easy enough, okay. So, shouldn't be too long, as long as I stay focused. Okay, let's check it out. So obviously I gotta blend it there. Okay, so undo that. I want this to actually have control. Yeah, auto meshes, yeah, for sure. I gotcha now. Auto meshes do really suck. It's great if it's like 2 bones, but yeah, more than 2 bones, it's like horrible. That's cool. One way to avoid it is using a bone higher than the spot itself. It will always not calculate to do that. Then you can just remove the bone if you want to. Yeah, I guess so, if I wanted to. Okay, so just blending these and then this piece of hair should be good. I'm okay with that. Okay, well that's definitely not good. So let's rebind those to... I think I'm gonna rebind those to the head. Except for this one, I'll put that back on. Okay, let's put more points there. Let's check it out. Pretty good. Just gotta reduce its control around here. It's whatever. Okay. That definitely needs to be fixed. Cool. And then blend these. it out. Okay, I can make that work. Looks good. Cool, so that's the hair. So the skull just needs this part, and then that's good, so let's do that. This is going to be really simple anyways. Oops. Okay. Easy. Okay, so pretty easy fix. Cool, that's great. Okay, so everything should be good there. Okay, let's do this one, because this one's also super easy. Okay, so that should be good enough for it. Then bind it to these two. What is this? Oh, I gotcha, okay. So, meshing for about 2 hours. It's whatever. Looks pretty good, I like that. Cool, I'll keep it like that. Okay, let's mesh this one. Separate there. Separate out the fingers. I gotta make sure I have really good separation here. And then I'll probably also have to make sure I have it here. Okay, separate out here, here, here. Okay, that should be sufficient. Meshes are probably the hardest part of animating, not because it's hard to do, but just because of the sheer patience you need for it. Yeah, you can imagine what it was like animating the Skilla for 10 hours. Okay. Let's see if it did a good job. Oh man. Yeah, no thanks. Okay. I don't know how I could screw up that hard, but whatever. It won't be that difficult to just fix it. This one's gonna be a little difficult, but I'll be able to figure that out. But yeah, definitely meshes are super time consuming. Like you can compare this to like some of the other streams we've done, where it's like no meshes at all versus things like this where it's almost all meshes, and you can really see the time difference. Okay, a little bit here. Okay, let's modify that a little bit more. Oh, actually I wanted to have control. Gotta fix that as well. I'm gonna connect this to the palm. Okay. Gotta fix this area. Cool. This is a little weird. It's got control up here for some reason. Try this. Okay, let's see. It's pulling a little bit on that one. Doesn't look too bad. Yeah, okay, I can deal with that for sure. Okay, so that hand looks cool. I needed to do this one just for these dangly bits. Other than that, this should be fine. Okay. Okay, almost done. Oh my god. So close. So let's fix that super crappy auto mesh. So let's test it. Cool. Okay, that could definitely be fixed. Cool. Oh, snap. Okay, so I gotta connect those to the thigh for sure. Okay, let's do this little one. Okay, so then there's just like the feet, and then we're good. Just took like 2 hours. Of course, like the one like super simple one, it doesn't auto calculate for some reason. Good enough. Okay, so let's do this one because this one's a little complicated, but it shouldn't be too hard. Oops. What's up, Slice and Dice Indie? How you doing? Any news about this expansion? Dedexy posted like a pretty long, good detailed review of like what a lot of this is gonna be. So I guess like I'll just give like a good quick summary of what this new mod is. So the plan is it's been about 3 months of development on this, but it's a pretty long-term project, and it's a pretty wide-scale mod as well. So it's a complete dungeon, and the whole goal of the dungeon is it's meant for veteran players, and it's really hard. But like the reward at the end of the dungeon is that you get like really awesome, like the end of this whole like progression fighting the bosses and stuff is that you get awesome trinkets and quirks. And it's just meant, you know, like for players who've played this game like over and over, and they know like a lot of like the established strategies. It should offer like a new breath of fresh air for like challenge. You know, just some variety. I'm expecting that when I'm done with it and I release it, it'll be approximately 30 hours of solid gameplay is what I'm expecting this mod to be. It'll be pretty good. And for those of you who aren't aware, Slice and Dice Indie plays Darkest Dungeon on like Blood Moon, and he plays it with like a variety of different class mods. If you wanted to go check out his stream, he's a Polish streamer. 30 hours on its own. So just like the dungeon, like if your goal is to finish all the bosses, just like the bosses, not the mini bosses, finish all the bosses. and play this dungeon, then you get about approximately 30 hours. But yeah, Slice and Dice Indie plays a variety of different games, including Darkest Dungeon, and he plays like a variety of challenge mods or challenge modes for it. New tribes, so like factions, yeah. So there's 3 factions in the dungeon, and each faction has different strengths and weaknesses. So right now I'm what am I doing? I'm working on one of the enemies for the faction. Let me show you. Let me bind this first, actually. So yeah, there we go. So this one's the Harpy. So there's 3 factions: there's the Harpies, the Cultists, and then the Abyssals, which are kind of like a bunch of crab people. And each faction has like a specific set number of weaknesses. So these are 2 of the Harpy enemies. So if I go into animation mode, so this is like 2 of the Harpies. So the Harpies are like the key features of the Harpies are they're all really fast. They have a lot of they crit often. All of them have a way to heal and cause stress. And they're high dodge, but they're weak to stuns, and a good a good number of them actually run away if you kill like a bunch of them really quick. Oh, and some of them have stealth. And then the Cultists, which are like straight up Cultists, I'm expanding on that faction as well, so they're gonna have some additional different varieties of guys. So the key things about them is that they have above average resistances across the board. They have a lot of ways to guard, and they come with like a variety of tools that diversifies their comps a lot. Like they can inflict damage on one of their members to increase their damage substantially. They can pull. They can use Aegis, stuff like that. They're just really good, well-rounded enemies. And then the Abyssals are super slow, with the exception of the Shrimps. The Shrimps are decent speed. They all have prot of varying degrees, and most of them are extremely tanky. So what really happens is that with the Abyssals, you can't like burst one of them down super quick on turn 1. You kind of have to like play it out for a few turns, and like plan out how you're gonna handle fighting them, because they're slow, they hit decently hard, and they have high resistances across the board except for blight. So they're vulnerable to blight. So those are the 3 factions, and all of them have varying degrees of weaknesses and strengths. So you can bring a team you can effectively bring a team that's great against one of the factions, decent against the other, decent against one other faction, and then poor against the third one. That's the goal of having 3 factions in this dungeon. And then there's a few one of the other things that this dungeon does is some of the monsters have 2 actions rather than 1 action. So it makes it so that stuns are a little slightly worse against them, because you can't really get action economy out of stunning them because they have 2 actions. And then it also makes it so that using dots like Bleed or Blight is really good against them because they move twice. And Riposte is really good against them because they attack twice, so you can get Riposte up on them twice. So that's a pretty rough rundown of what to expect from this dungeon. And then of course there's a bunch of other things, like there's gonna be a variety of mini bosses you can fight. The bosses themselves are pretty tough. And I've done a little bit of testing on the monsters itself as well, and I can definitely say that it's tough. There's some mini bosses that I fought and I thought they were a little too easy, but I didn't change them because I never know. And then when I went back to fight them again with a different party comp, it was a completely different fight for me. It was super hard. So yeah, that's a pretty rough rundown. And I'm expecting this mod to be done within the next few months. It's gonna take a while though, because I want to make sure that I do it good the first time around. Okay, so that's super rough, but Just want to get an idea if I want to do this. Okay. Okay, the left one looks like it can remove guard, unable changing of positions, out team, and then second probably bleed, stress damage, and relocation, alternatively from rows 3-4 to 1-2, and also the other way around. Yeah, so let me go over these characters actually. Okay, so this one right here is almost pure damage, like pure damage. So this one's one of them that can attack twice, and it can do bleeds with like claw attacks, and then it does blight by vomiting on people, and then of course it has like a heal attack as well, so it can heal itself. So this one's almost strictly a damage dealer. It's pretty high speed as well, and like my preferred way of handling it is just killing them straight up, because like the other thing about all the harpies is all the harpies are pretty easy to kill. They're not like super tanky or anything like that, so you could kill them really quick. So this is usually this is what I kill first. And then this one is it can attack any rank with this weapon right here, and it does a it's a pretty high damage attack with a bleed attached to it. And then its big gimmick is that it can throw the net once, and the net is a mark plus stun plus debuff on one party member. So this guy's the marker, because all the harpies also have ways of doing damage to marks. And this guy's the one who marks them for him. I've tried to make sure that there's enough enemies, like there's enough different enemy types, that if you go into the dungeon, it never feels like you know exactly how the enemy comp's gonna work, because there's just so many different enemy combinations. Okay, so let me test this out. Okay, so that leg looks pretty good. Here at least. So I just gotta work up here. Okay. See how that looks? Okay, so I can definitely improve on that. So let's improve it. Stun resist on harpies, so really low. So they're easily stunnable. You'll find that it's a little hard to stun cultists because they have above average stun resist, but it's definitely doable. It's just a little less reliable on stunning them, unless you have a character that brings a stun skill chance trinket. And then the abyssals are really hard to stun. At least the notable ones are really hard to stun. But all the harpies, all of them are super easy to stun. Like, they have really low stun resist. It's just like outspeeding them is the problem, because they're all really high speed. Yeah, exactly. You can stun them so they're easy. You just gotta make sure that your stunner's fast enough, and then you'll be good. I like to think that the harpies are kind of like the noob killers. Like, players who don't really understand the game 100% yet, who dive into this dungeon, will probably have a really hard time fighting the harpies. It's kind of like the mosquitoes from the Crimson Court. Okay, so let's fix that some more. Okay, so let's see if that's good. Okay, I don't like that anymore actually, so let's fix it again. Okay. Okay, so I want to find a way to make that work, because I'm sure it's gonna look really awesome if I can. Actually, I think I'm gonna bind it to this point as well. Okay, so probably bind everything with this instead. Yeah, I'll probably just bind it to that one. Okay. Okay, so that's giving the general effect, but I'm definitely gonna have to fix it because the mesh is destroying itself. Okay. Okay. Oh man. Okay, so this is gonna be a little tough. I gotta figure out how to balance this correctly. But once I get this figured out, everything else should be easy. This will look like a really awesome monster. Okay, I think I got it. Yeah, I like that. Cool. Happy with that. Let's work on the final one, and then we can get to animating this. Where is it? Here it is. Finally, we could get to animating. It's been literally 2.5 hours. Separate it out. Put some buffer points here, just in case. But this should be easy. Okay. Delete these other ones. Then bind it to the 2. Cool. Let's see, but I got pretty nice runs. Last time I finished the game in 65 weeks with 2 deaths on Blood Moon, and I was only using single character per class. So only 1 Man-at-Arms, Flagellant, etc. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. What's your current challenge run? I haven't been able to keep up with the streams because of the time zone differences, unfortunately. Okay, so let's increase this. so that should be good. Test it. That looks pretty freaking good. Maybe just a little bit here. Oh, teams of 3 in the dungeons? For real? That sounds really tough, dude. Only 3. I'll have to check out the VODs for that one. That sounds really interesting, actually. I've never like heard of someone ever doing that, so I'm interested to see how it would go. People can be super creative with challenge runs in this game too. It's insane. I've seen some really creative ones. Okay, so that leg is good. Everything should be good. Okay, cool. So now we can get into animating this guy finally. Yeah, everything should be good. Okay, here we go. So he's gonna be the same frame rate as this guy, so 28. And then of course we have the ghoul over here for reference. I think the ghoul's actually pretty static in terms of his animations. Yeah, they're all straight lines. So we're gonna do this one instead. Okay. So obviously it'll be rough in the beginning, because that's how these animations always start. Oh, you're starting that on Monday. Okay, cool. I'll definitely try to catch the VOD if I can on the day after. Breathing control? Oh yeah, it's right here. Breathing. We got that. Okay. Cool. So yep, that's the same control. So yeah, this is going to be a little rough to begin with, obviously, as all animations start. Okay, so I want it to do the same mouth movement as this guy, so it's going to be like clacking, you know, like it wants to eat or something. Oh, this is a problem. What the heck is happening here? Is this not connected? Let's see. Okay, let's see exactly why that's happening. Okay, so that's definitely weird. Let me check it out. Oh, that explains a lot. Okay. I clicked the wrong head. Whoops. Okay. It's gonna be a little awkward. Okay, so let's go fix that, because that was definitely not what I wanted to happen at all. It's a little awkward. Okay. I wish they had like a control where I could replace a bone's like like replace a bone's power with another bone. That would definitely help here, but unfortunately no. Okay, so now that needs to be fixed. How's it doing that? Oh, all the way over there, okay. Cool. Okay, back to animating. Okay, well let's figure this out. I'm just gonna rough in some form of movement that I would like to have. Okay, let's see. Okay, I would like the bend in its back to be more noticeable. Maybe I'll go up instead. No, I want it to bend over. Figure it out slowly. Okay, so turn off image selection. Okay. It's got these big freaking claw hands. Kind of awkward. Okay, so let's see. Wonder what happens if I make it try to like bend backwards. If it looks weird. Looks like he's trying to fly. So silly. Okay, so definitely no. I also think I don't want this to move as much. Maybe I do actually. I would like a more exaggerated bend in the back, so let's do that. Okay, so that's a little too exaggerated. So these will definitely have to be offsetted. Oh man, it's really weird. Okay. Some big freaking bone hand. So I'd like to reduce this one's movement as well. Okay. I want to see if I like this leg movement first. So this one. Oh, whoops. Because I'll probably offset everything in the body up here, for sure. So yeah, I don't like that at all. I want it to bounce more up and down. Figuring it out slowly. This needs to be fixed. You like the movement so far? I'm still iffy about it. I want to find like a good amount of movement. Okay, let's try the offsets now. Because obviously I want this to look a lot more feral. So I gotta find a way to do that. Okay, so let's fix the neck to make up for that movement. That's weird. Must have accidentally changed it. Okay, getting there. Okay, so I'm liking the direction it's going now. Obviously, there's a lot that needs to still be fixed. Okay, let's try those offsets again. I think this leg needs to move less. And this arm definitely needs to be... Yeah, okay. Swing back, okay. I'll figure it out. Yeah, arm movements should be smaller, yeah, for sure. I'm still trying to figure it out. This is a... I want these to obviously look really awesome, like claw weapons. But I also want to figure out this body first. It's also moving a lot. It's a little disorienting. I might reduce the movement a little bit on the upper side of the torso. I'll figure it out. Okay. Let's give it the jaw movement. That might actually add a lot of personality to it. Oh, I can't do that. Okay. So it's 1, 2, and then 4. Okay. So I think the jaw's actually too big to have a movement that extreme. Maybe. Maybe it just has to be elongated. Okay. exaggerate it. Just keep going. Yeah, I think it's just too big for that to happen. Maybe if I meet halfway with both of them. Let's try that. Maybe I'll just do that. Maybe just one. Maybe just one. And I'll spread it out. Okay, so I'm just gonna try a more smoother jaw movement. Yeah, so it's just like a straight up breathing motion instead. I like that one. I like that a lot more, for sure. Cool. Okay. I think this is offset already, yep. Okay, let's have her ham hands offset a little bit. So I'll definitely move the shoulder pad with it. Yeah, the first one. Okay, so let's try getting more close. Interesting. Oh, but then it starts doing morphing over here. So maybe instead I'll just rotate. Cool. So let's see, she goes down, so yeah, sure. Now I'll have him go up instead. I'm generally liking this one. This one's gonna need some work though. I think I'm gonna have it actually change here instead. It's much more extreme for sure. Much more ghouly for sure. Okay. It's okay. I'm liking that a lot more now. Obviously all the bone finger things will have to move as well. Let's see, always wanted to ask how much time it takes making characters sketch to moment when it is fully implemented into game. I'd say time-wise, I'd say it's about 8 hours per character, time-wise, which includes the initial sketch, then coloring it, or like doing the line art, then coloring it, putting it into the game to see how it looks, and then doing any changes I need to, and then doing the animation, like this type of stuff. I'd say that's like a total of at least 8 hours per character, depending on the complexity. But that's not including things like the additional poses I have to do for characters, which can take anywhere from like, I think it's like a range of 6 hours to six hours plus. It just depends on the character and how many poses they need. But yeah, a character like this would take me like 8 hours total like work time to finish. Okay. I think I'm okay with this, so I'm gonna try offsetting them now. The big ham hands. Okay, that's a little unfortunate. Okay. Huh. I'm liking where the character's going movement-wise so far. Okay, let's do fingers. And then I'll offset those fingers to make them look cool. And spine animation seems hardest part in this process, like tying all the bones to the skeleton and making it move naturally, right? You'd be surprised actually. This has come pretty naturally to me. This animating. I'd actually say that the initial concept, like drawing like the character, is the hardest part. For me at least. But yeah, I can understand like some people have trouble with the animation part of the character, because like getting like a good motion and personality to the idle animation can be hard for some characters. Dang, that looks pretty gnarly. Holy crap. I'm liking it though. It's got chicken wings, dude. So now I think I'm gonna offset this again because I like it. Okay, so time to offset some of these fingers. Okay, so I think I'll do the same for this thumb. Actually, I'll reduce that movement. Dang. Really good and scary? That's good to hear. Okay. Obviously, there's still like a lot of other things that I need to do on this character. Like this little thing right here, actually. So let's do that. It's like ankle bone or whatever. It's additional bird bone. Gotta do the hair and the spikes on the back as well. And this. Okay. Probably moves too much, actually. That's cool. Let's do gross things here. And here. I'll probably have this one actually move. Nah, never mind. Screw that. Offset. Actually, yeah, I'll offset this one. Okay. The breathing control. I'll make it more extreme. Cool. Looking good. Okay. Are you planning to make some mod with new groups of enemies? For those who play the game a lot, there's lack of new enemies. Also, why Red Hook won't just make a new DLC with new 6 location and with new enemies and a few bosses. So as far as I know, the Color of Madness will add a new area with a bunch of enemies with continual quests, so it's not just like one plot quest to fight a boss, it'll be actual generated quests. And this is actually part of a new dungeon with new monsters that you could fight. This right here, what I'm animating, is for that. So this is like an enemy you could fight in the dungeon. So I will, in the next few months, hopefully, I'll be able to get it released and then you can, you know, try it out. Okay, so I gotta move these little dangly bits as well. Let's do the hair. Okay, let's change. Around June or July. I think that's yeah, that's probably when I would get this done for sure. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Assuming there's no like roadblocks, like unexpected obstacles I have to go over during production. It's gonna be an interesting experience releasing something this wide scale as a mod. It'll definitely be interesting seeing what the community's reaction to it will be. Well, that's pretty extreme. So let's tone that back. I think over here just a little bit. Okay, this could move less. This one probably should move less as well. Cool. Wait, are you part of Red Hook now? No, I'm not. I just like making mods. Liking this is cool. Okay, so let's do some offsets with the hair now. Cool. Liking that hair for sure. Dang, this is a pretty ugly looking creature. Okay, well let's do the back spikes. Oh wait, I need to put in the thing. Cool. Oh, I wish I could work with them. I bet we would have good synergy. Oh, I could work with them? Me? Maybe. You never know until it actually happens, you know? But that'd be cool to work on Red Hook. I'd be down to work on whatever they're working on. Like this is cool. That's looking good. Okay, I just gotta do this crap over here. So it's going down. So these would swing this way. And they would swing opposite direction here. Okay, so definitely too much movement. here. Cool. I'm just gonna offset them. Extra nasty. Marvin Seal for Red Hook, that'd be cool. Silvio worked with Red Hook, so maybe they'll contact you eventually. Yeah, for sure. That'd be cool. I'd be down. Okay, so that's extra nasty for sure. Let's do these things down here. So here, they would swing inwards. Hashtag Marvin Seal for Red Hook. Heck yeah. Okay, so that's definitely way too much movement, so let's reduce it where I need to. Okay, so let's offset some. Extra nasty. Okay, did XTC. I'll have the animation up on various places for you to see. Oh, you start animating too? Oh, nice. You're working on MLD stuff. Cool, dude. Heck yeah, dude. Awesome. I can't wait to see what you come up with. Okay, so I think I'm done animating this guy. I'm just looking at him to see if I missed anything. Everything looks like it's moving. Hold up. Okay, so the only thing I want to change is moving this. Because his head is actually not really over there anymore, it's over here. Extra nasty. Yeah, animating is actually really fun. It's pretty interesting giving life to a static, a static image. Yeah, he looks pretty cool. I like him. Okay, I think I'm actually, yeah, this guy's definitely done. So, let's delete the reference, export him, and check him out in game. Okay, so give me a second to go upload that to the mod thingy. So Harpy Ravager. And yeah, you guys can see a fully animated team of harpies. Be pretty cool. Okay, uploading now. Oh yeah, I should probably play this while you guys are waiting. Okay, let's see. Uploaded. Okay, gotta go download it. Okay, just giving it a second to download. Let's see if he's actually cool. It might look really silly in game, you never know. Okay, so I think it's a good time. I'm gonna pause the background music so we can just listen to in-game.
Ruin has come to our family.
Okay, let's check out the Harpy Ravager in-game. Let's close that out. Okay, let's check out Team Harpy in the woods. Would the Falconer be a good pick against the Harpies? I'd say yes, because she's accurate, decent speed, and she has a way to buff your entire team's speed, so yeah. She does a pretty good job against them.
Brigands have run up these lanes.
I found if I were to compare the a lot of people like to compare the Falconer and the Arbalest.
Dispatch this thug in brutal fashion.
They look pretty cool.
All may hear of your arrival.
They like to compare the Falconer and the Arbalest. In this situation, if I'm fighting in 3 factions, I would prefer the Arbalest against the Abyssals. I would prefer Falconer versus Harpies, and then either one is fine versus Cultists. Okay, let's get this thing out of the way. Cool, I stunned him. Okay, yeah, so this one doesn't have any animations yet, because I haven't I don't usually do the poses until after I finished it. So it still uses the Cultist Witch, but once we're done with the stream, I might go in and do some sketches for poses for that guy. So if I get a opening to just look at them instead of get wrecked repeatedly. Yeah, they are pretty fast, huh?
Festering fear consumes the mind.
Bye bye, Reynold.
As life ebbs, terrible vistas.
Which one jump scared you?
themselves.
Yeah, they are. It was actually intentional to have them be a little faster because they are the fastest faction. But if they're too fast, I can definitely tone that down. I had to do a few tweaks to some of the animations earlier. Now I'm just gonna stare at him. Oh yeah, seeing the full team, pretty freaking scary, huh? That's good. They are definitely pretty nasty looking guys. They are not pretty. Well, I definitely can't get another turn because they'll all die. Like, my guys will die. This is what we got. I'm just gonna stare at it for a little bit. Really try to take it all in. I can understand the fast thing though, but then again, it is also a speed 12 creature with 2 attacks. Yeah. It's just right in your opinion? Interesting. I've had to do some, obviously, like, sometimes when I just play, like just play testing and stuff, I do like little tweaks here and there sometimes when I see things I don't like. Yeah, Trident guy takes up a lot of space for sure. Yeah, because the Trident's kind of invading into her space. For sure. Fast 12 speed. Yeah, so you can see that all of them except for this one. Oh yeah, that's right. This one got stunned earlier, so that's why it has 95%. So yeah, you can see that they all have really low stun resist, pretty good blight resist, low everything else, except for like a few stats here and there. And then their typing is their typing varies based on the type of creature. So beast, beast human, beast unholy, beast unholy. Okay, well. Still looking at it. I like the movement of this arm though. Let's see. I like this one right here though. This is a pretty gruesome looking hand. So nasty. Okay, well that's gonna be the stream then. I'm probably gonna change it later when I look at it again because I did spend like 3.5 hours animating this thing, so my like perception of it is a little skewed. So I'll look at it again probably tomorrow to see if I really do like it. But for now, I think I'm fine with it. So that'll be the stream. If you enjoyed any part of the stream, please consider supporting me on Patreon. I'll be back next week animating one of the abyssal guys. It's like what are those animals called? Roly polies. That's like what the enemy is. It's a roly poly. So I'll be animating that guy, and that'll be pretty fun to see how like see how I can figure out making that character look really cool for that faction. But yeah, okay. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Bye.